2018 sketchbook. This one I finished not too long ago. As you can see, it's kind of got that sway in it. This sketchbook went out on the road with me with my job every day until it was completed. And it's tore right here. It's got some dents and dings to it. It's been well fingered and well, I mean, you can see it's been well loved. Like everybody's looked through it. This is a toned book, and not a lot of pages were tore out of this. Maybe three. Maybe three. So, without further ado, let's get into it. This is the first page in the sketchbook. I was asked to draw Negan as a fox. This was done for somebody on Facebook. They know who they are. And it was fun. I was playing with the Prismacolors on tone paper. I have worked with tone paper before, so this wasn't a new thing to me. But I was just playing around with different things on this one in particular. And so I just did Negan as a fox, basically. And so page 2 is, I did a lot of ink, ballpoint pen, and white gel pen in this book. It's predominantly what's in this sketchbook. I will be up front now. There's not very many color pieces in here. There are very few and far in between. The first one was color. A bunch of these are going to be black and white. Anyway, here's one I did out on the road. A snarly pea lady with a gun, and Dwayne in the background with just simple canyons behind them. He got a little off because I started this at home and then I finished it out on the road, and I drew him out on the road, so he got a little strange in the anatomy. In the wear anatomy, should I say. For some odd reason, I kind of screwed up right there, I believe. But anyway, this was started at home, finished out on the road. This was the beginning of my Goretober challenge. So this was number 1 in the series. And it was your choice. So I did this one out on the road after I finished the one I just showed you. I sat down with ballpoint pen and drew this out and used white gel pen and red ballpoint. Basically, just P Lady feeling evil and just looking up and just being all kinds of satanic. 'Cause why not? This one, I have these labeled on the back. That's why I'm looking, and it's torn apart. So I did a skull dog with some white rays around him, and I don't know why the hell I put bubbles coming out of his mouth, but I put bubbles coming out of his mouth. And, exposed here like he's ripped, like he's being torn. So I did that one. This one is, you had to draw something that was stitched together, or a doll. So I drew Foxy as a little fox doll with voodoo pins stuck into her. So I used, all this is ballpoint pen and white gel pen, but I did this one. At some point in time, some of these aren't going to be as polished as others. This one's pretty polished. The first couple ones are pretty polished. And then near the end of it, I start to get where it's hit and miss on being polished. This one is like having the brain exposed, I think, surgery. So I did his brain exposed and the stapling, which I know the anatomy of the person's off. But you got to give me the fact that I did this with ballpoint pen. So, like, a lot of this was not pre-sketched with with a number 2 pencil. Some of them were, but majority of them were not. Brain splatter. I drew P Lady getting shot through the head with her brains being splattered everywhere from top to bottom. Enough said on that one, I think. It's pretty self-explanatory. Again, I did some strange, funky crap right here. That should have just been more rounded, like how this side was. But I did something strange. I don't know why I did that. I think I did this one out on the road too, so that probably was why I rushed that side. Because I probably had to get out of the truck because my brake was over or some shit. But yeah. This one was cannibalism. So I drew P Lady eating Dwayne. I kind of did it fast and cartoony. You can see that the quality is not as good on this one as it is on some of the other ones, because this was done super fast and quick. This one, I'm having to look on the back here to see, it's plant growth. So I drew Foxy with bumblebees and plants growing out of her. And I realize now that the mouth is way too huge for the head. I have that exaggerated. It could be the angle too, but I feel that this right here probably could have sloped and went right here and been more realistic looking, and I just went like this and just dropped that jaw way too far. That's a no-no. But like I said, these do have some anatomy problems with them, because the whole exercise was to draw fast, quick pictures from what the prompt was. So that was the point of it. So there's going to be, when you draw things quick and fast from a prompt, it's not going to be perfect, especially if you're doing it with pen. But yeah, if I was drawing this as a serious piece, it would have been more like that, because that's how mouths are. But anyways, this one, eye gouge, was this one. So I drew a plague doctor with a dagger sticking out of his eye, and a simple, like cathedral castle type background behind him. So I did that one. That one was done out on the road too. And who doesn't like zombies? This one was bullet wounds, so I drew zombies that had been shot. So you can see the bullet wounds. And like I said, this is all done in ballpoint gel pen. Fast sketches. Tentacles or parasite. This was Parasite. As you can see, I was heavily influenced by The Thing, because that was the only thing that would come to my mind was the creature off the movie The Thing. So I did some kind of weird hybrid variation of that. There. Frig, I'll use a different word. Adaptation, that's the word I was going to try to use there a minute ago, and it just wouldn't come out. But yeah, that one didn't turn out as good as some of the other ones. But there's some of them that aren't as good as other ones in here. And some of them are really good, and some of them aren't. Some are mediocre. Like, it varies depending on how I felt that day and what I was doing at my job, because a lot of these were drawn out on the road. This one, I think, was while I was waiting on my gas man. I sketched that one. This next one is amputation. Yep, amputation. So I have him cutting his arm off, with P Lady kind of her head raised up, bug-eyed in the background, so her lip kind of raised. And he's taking an axe, and I know the hand here is not correct. That's not how a hand looks that holds an axe handle. I'm aware of that. But again, this one was done out on the road, so I didn't always have a whole lot of time to do things properly. Especially if I was on lunch break, I was on time limit, so yeah. He's just like, ah! Rope intestines was this prompt, and I was waiting on the gas company guys to show up that we work with. When I was drawing this, I drew P Lady with a big roll of intestines wrapped around her lower mouth and that shit-eating smirk on her face like, hee, I'm evil. And the muzzle right here bothers me, and the angling a little bit. But other than that, I really like how this one turned out, because she just looks snarky as poo. This next one is called Gut Spill. That was the prompt. And I drew Foxy cut in half with her guts and intestines strung everywhere with little flies blowing her. And she has that shocked, zematic look on her face, like, what the hell? This one here is called Possession. This is another one that I really like how it turned out. It has Dwayne and P Lady morphing into each other, like she is possessing him because she's crazy, because she is crazy. And I just really loved how that turned out. That sketch is just amazing. This one here is called Body Horror, and Tiny Fox does not like maggots. So I drew her, half of her face ripped away, infested with these overly large, huge maggots. This one was done out on the road, I believe in a Geno's parking lot. This one here was monster transformation, so I did an eyeball monster. That's kind of a mix between some kind of goat-like creature and everything, but yeah, I did this little guy. This one is called Melting, or Acid. So I drew P Lady's face melting off. That was actually pretty hard to do. I did this one out on the road too, like most of these were. This one is Burned, so I did a crispy zombie, because why not? Because burned zombies are love. This one, I'm not too happy with how it turned out. I don't know what the prompt is. Mutated, I think. Mutated, deformed. This did not turn out for the way I wanted it to. Kind of fell short of what I envisioned. But I had to roll with it because ballpoint pen. So, but it has like a face here and face here, and the body is all deformed with all the different legs. It's like a deformity. This one is Laceration, so I drew a character that is a relatively new character. His name is Abstinence. He is a fallen sugar angel, which I believe the creator scrapped that species, but I still have my fallen angel, and I still use him because he is love. And he's hateful, but I have him like he got in a fight and he got tore all to pieces and he's all bloody and stuff. This one's not as good as some of the other ones because this was really quick. This one is Impaled, so I did a bunch of heads impaled on spears with a banner. One of them I made as P Lady's head because why the hell not? This one was Pulling Teeth, and I was trying a weird angle and failed. This is one of them that is crap, that didn't turn out good at all, that isn't good at all. This is a very crappy sketch. The angling and everything else is all off on this. I think I was on a 15-minute break, and I slapped this shit down in 15 minutes or less. So this one was supposed to be glass, I think. Yeah, glass stuck in the skin, so I drew a liquor, how original, from Resident Evil, with glass stuck in it. Because my creative mind could think of nothing else but a damn liquor with its tongue stuck out and glass stuck in it. I wasn't very creative that day because I was out in the middle of nowhere and just, I don't know, I was having a little bit of an art block too with it. This one didn't turn out too bad. It was called Power Tool Wounds. So I have like a drill bit or some shit stuck in his face and a saw blade through his head because it's supposed to be injuries by power tools. So I drew this really fucked up guy with this shit stuck in him. This one's called Bones Exposed, so I drew a skull dog. Here's the skull. He's looking up this way like he's looking up in the sky, and all the fun hair around it. This one took a while. This one, we had a day where we didn't have to do much, so I got to actually sit and take my time on this one. This one is called Rotting. So I did another zombie in a state of decay and rot and stuff like that. Not much to say about it. Pretty simplistic. I tried my co-worker's idea on this and it failed very miserably. It was supposed to be in torture. So torture was, their idea was, rock cliff with hellfire in the water and them burning. And while it was a good idea, I didn't translate it very well because I wasn't feeling it like they were feeling it, but they wanted me to draw it for that prompt so bad, so that's what I did. And it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. This is not one of the good ones. Blood Sacrifice. It has P-Lady holding a heart that she ripped out of her own self. And I'm smiling like I'm crazy. Because I am. I must have been having a day that day when I did that prompt. More Resident Evil. Manslaughter. I did Wesker taking his hand through a zombie. It is not a very good picture. This one didn't turn out very good either because it was one I had to slap down 15 minutes on a break out on the side of the road. So I got his face off and I got the zombie off and the hand off and a lot of things off, but I didn't care. I had fun drawing it, so that's all that matters. Yeah, his face is off like right here. I needed to bring that out a little more and line the mouth out a little more. Like, I know what's wrong with it, but at that point I don't think I cared. I think I just wanted it down on the paper. This one's called Nosebleed. That was the prompt. So I drew Foxy with blood spraying out of her nostrils. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty simplistic. This last one, is it this? Yeah, this is the last one. It was Halloween themed, so you got to pick it. So I drew P-Lady with stitched mouth and clown makeup on. I'm not really sure what the heck I was going for here. In my mind's eye, it looked really awesome, but when it went to paper, it didn't translate the way I saw it in my head. But that's okay. It still has a sinister look to it. That was the end of my Goretober prompts for the month of October. This next one, I was playing with color on this tone paper again. So I did like a cemetery scene, which looks like every cemetery scene I ever draw because P-Lady sucks at landscapes. With P-Lady smiling snarkily and Dwayne just not taking no shit. In this image, he actually turned out better looking than I did. Because I think I just rushed on my Wolfie a little bit. But I tried to do it more. I know what I was doing here. I was doing it like a night scene. That's why he's more got teal tones and blue tones in him and stuff. So I was making it look like nighttime. This next one I was experimenting with black Sharpie marker, colored pencil, and white gel pen. I did for my sister, whose real name I'm not going to disclose on here, but I did this of her alter ego Beowulf, and with me in the background. And while I'm not really happy how I turned out, she turned out pretty cool. There's some ticks on this, like I screwed up on this leg and that foot looks kind of strange. Because it looks like it only has 2 toes, even though it doesn't. Because I got the toes going this direction over here, but the green got into it somehow. And so it looks like she's got like a camel toe, even though it's not. Because the foot's like right there. But the anatomy got kind of strange on this, and the head did too, like the muzzle. And I think it's just where the paper's small because I have issues drawing tiny. That's my problem. Little sketchbooks like this are a challenge for me to draw in, believe it or not. So I think that's why everything got kind of squishy looking. Oh, Mother of God. People said I draw the canines too much, so I sent her a self-portrait of myself. This is an actual photograph that I did take of myself. I'm going to tear myself apart here a little bit on this one. This is a little too long. It needed to come up and be more polished, like right through here, and more rounded here. I got my chin a little too long, but it kind of looks like that in the photograph, but I needed to shorten it just a little bit, and it would have looked okay, and probably maybe brought the hat up here a little more, and it would have looked fine. But yeah, my hair's that color in real life now. And that was actually drawn from an actual photograph of myself. So, this next one is called Fox Magic, which I've done one called Fox Magic before in the past. But I was playing with green and yellow glow stuff on here. You can't really see him because it's curled up. There's Dwayne in the background, and Foxy, she's making some kind of magic, and I got Precious up on my little shoulder, and I'm just like, yeah! I'm all snarly and happy as I look at this stuff. There, this one actually took a long while to do because of all the color saturation in it. Portrait I've did of Melissa McBride as Carol Peltier. She's one of my favorites. It's off of Walking Dead, her and Norman Reedus, and a few others that I'm not going to go and list, but the problem that I have with this one is this eye right here. It's too close and angled up and not angled out like it should have been. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Her hair was a bitch. I think she's a pretty lady anyway. This I did for Kira Rami of Kira Rami's new design. This is Prismacolor pencils and white gel pen. I love, love, love how I did the detail on this. This translated very well on this piece. This other one is hers as well. I was trying something different with this one and trying to use more bright colors with a demented scene, and it fell very short. I still like how it looks, but it could have looked better. Like, this is just to me, this is a mediocre piece that could be a lot 100% better. It's not on the level the other one was, for sure. Definitely. This one was done around deer season, and we all know that I'm an avid hunter. I do not trophy hunt. To throw that out there before anybody sits there and roasts me for hunting and killing animals. I do not kill for sport. I do not kill for a trophy. When I kill something, I use the entire animal. So, I don't want to hear it. Nothing goes to waste. I drew me and Foxy and ballpoint pen and white gel pen, and my mother told me I had deer on the brain. So I drew P Lady's brain, and it says deer. And she's thinking deer. And my mother made a comment that I can see antlers 9 fields away. So I put that on there. Can see antlers 9 fields away. Bloodlust. Deer. Deer on the brain. They're out in the woods hunting for deer. So, because deer is awesome. It's good. And then I drew a deer. I did use a photo reference of this. Actually, I won't even say photo reference. I used a taxidermy reference for this, because this is an actual taxidermy deer. I do not own this taxidermy mount. Somebody else does. But I drew it from that taxidermy mount. I changed some things up on it to make it my own, because I didn't want to do it as a still life drawing or anything like that. So I was just wanting to draw that particular pose, so I just used the taxidermy mount for that pose, basically. And made the deer my own. Not much to say about it, other than I was just playing with some things. These were sketches I did for Killer Amy of her two of her characters that she has, or no, it was the one character, and I did 2 different scenes. Excuse me. I ended up doing these digitally, and you can see the speed draw and paint videos also here on my channel of these that were made in Ibis Paint. So you can check those out too. They're in back videos. But this is the sketches they derived from. And then I did this one in mixed media. This is a combination of watercolor brush pens, white gel pen, and Prismacolor pencils. And it's a very interesting effect that actually turned around out on this image. While I'm not really happy with how Dwayne looks, I like how P Lady looks. She looks all kinds of evil and mean, and she's battle beaten. And I entitled this piece Warrior because it's what I am. I'm not a survivor of anything. I'm a warrior because I have overcome and survived things that would kill most people. And that's an understatement. I do have my scars from the things I've survived, and I wear them proudly, as you rightfully should if you survive something that's meant to kill you. But I'm not a survivor because I see a survivor as somebody who's weak and got lucky to make it through the thing that was meant to kill them. A warrior is different because it is somebody who is already a strong-willed individual who fights to survive. So I see myself as a warrior because I've been through quite a few things in my life that would have killed anybody else, and I'm still standing. I may not function as well as somebody who's never had all this stuff happen to them, but the thing of it is I'm still alive and I'm still standing. It didn't take me down. It didn't break me. So that's the thing. I'm not getting into what happened to me in my past. It's neither here nor there, but just know I've been through some really, really, really bad shit that I wasn't supposed to really make it through or survive, and I'm still standing. So I'm a warrior, and it's because I got that fighting spirit. It doesn't want to give up. But anyway, that's kind of where I derived this from. This piece has a really good, deep meaning to me because it is based off things that has happened to me, that I've been through, that I've experienced. Moving on, I did a purgatory reaction meme. Good Lord. I did this out on the road. My work partner for that day was watching me do this. And it says, "Who are you?" P Lady. So she's answering P Lady. These are fast sketches, so my wolf anatomy is probably off. Like I got her lower part of her muzzle here too long, so she would have a hair lip probably if she had her mouth shut. But any other time it would have been like shorter, a little shorter, but I got it a little overlong there. And then it says, "Get off our turf. I don't think you're big enough to make me." She's being all snarky, and this is pretty much my actual personality. Coming out here, "You're fine, you can stay. That's better. That's a better answer." It's just like, yeah, I knew you was going to let me stay. Why? Because I'm a bitch. I'm not going to say what it says here. It says F-boy, but I'm not going to say that because you can read it. This is posted up online, so if you want to read it that badly, you can. And this other one is like, it's surprise. It's like, really? I'll snap your neck. You're not one bit funny. And then it's like, I love you. Who are you trying to convince, me or yourself? Because we all know you can't love a monster like me. And then I just did some floaty Dwayne and P Lady heads because why the hell not? This would actually make a cool sticker if I didn't run out of room over here. Because of I was doing like splattery. What I was trying to do was trying to make her look like she was pulling out of the shadows, like, bubbling, and I was trying for something here and it failed. I got her muzzle way too long and her eyes are too close together. I sketched this though with ballpoint pen, so I couldn't go back and erase it and fix it, so I just had to roll with it. But her eyes should have been like, this eye here should have been more over here. And her muzzle probably could have been half that length. But it is what it is. And then I did this speed sketch in pencil and white gel pen of the Howling 4 werewolf, female werewolf that's black in it. So this is a speed sketch. This was a really fast thing I did. This was my 2018 Christmas picture of Foxy. I did this in colored pencil and white gel pen. And I put Xmas Hell across above her head because she felt like she was in Christmas hell. And I did screw up on her little muzzle a little bit. I got this a little bit more rounded instead of coming up like this side did. But she was like always complaining she was in Christmas hell and how she hates Elf on the Shelf because she has one because she has kids. So those little bastards are a given. And she hates all this stuff and she's grumpy. So I just drew this simplistic thing. This did get featured on the Artemino. A lot of my stuff gets featured on there. Not everything, but a lot of my polished stuff does. And which is pretty cool. I think this was actually the last page in the sketchbook. Yep, that was the end of that one. So that was my 2018 sketchbook. As it stands right now, I don't really have a 2019 sketchbook. I have a tone gray and a black paper sketchbook. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to turn those into sketchbooks and do stuff. One has 2 drawings in it colored, but I've tore paper out of it to do commissions and stuff on in the past on the gray one. I don't know whether I'll pick up another sketchbook today or not. I may for 2019. But anyway, thank you for viewing my tiny 5 by 5 inch by 8.5 tone tan sketchbook. The tiny thing that is evil. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this sketchbook. I probably am not going to have another sketchbook tour for a while. So enjoy this one and the other 3 prior to it. And you guys have a fantastic day.